Welcome to the latest installment of Brand of Brothers. I'm Doug.
And I'm Johnny. Today we're talking about creating compelling content for Gen Z.
All right, let's get to it.
Hey, so today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics. It's Gen Z.
Creating compelling content for these folks. So let's begin by saying the most important thing possible to our audience is making it very clear to them what generation we belong to.
Not Gen Z.
We do not belong to Gen Z.
No.
We definitely belong to Gen X.
Yep. Well, what I like to call the forgotten generation because we're small
and we forget a lot of things.
We're very forgetful. No, it's interesting. Like when you talk politics or whatever, they tend to skip over the Gen X because statistically in numbers, we really don't matter, which is really a reflection of how our parents felt about us.
That's latchkey kids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in the world of storytelling for Gen Z, right? We're trying to connect with them in very specific ways that things are obviously a lot different between X and Z, right? So as it relates to Gen X, we were kind of taught to consume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in a material way, and I feel like the script has been flipped with Gen Z.
There seems to be a different emphasis on authenticity.
Oh, for sure. And the way that the content is delivered, right?
Yep. They tend to look at that the concept of the TikTok generation is so on the nose.
With the short form video is
short form,
as we call it in the biz.
Reels, YouTube Shorts. Obviously TikTok has been hugely in the news of late because of the legal issues in the United States. And within that has created a whole burgeoning industry of influencers. There are celebrities that don't hit the different generations. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy named Mr. Beast.
I am.
Yeah.
I have children, so of course I am.
So, if you haven't been, if you don't have children, and if you're not in that might be an unfamiliar celebrity to you, but he is huge,
right? Or just a brand new name that's coming on the scene for you.
Yeah.
So Mr. Beast is a little bit controversial, and you kind of brought up the political landscape as it related to TikTok and that temporary ban that we experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So as it relates to the inclusivity, right? I know that there's this whole idea of DEI that's become a little bit polarizing politically. But one thing that we've seen as it relates to Gen Z has been that idea of diversity and inclusivity. Can you speak a little bit to that?
So it goes beyond that. I think it's that as a generation, Gen Z seems to be less concerned with consumerism, less concerned with getting a job and a career and that, more concerned with the climate, more concerned with work-life balance. And so these sustainability falls in there,
even community engagement beyond mental wellness.
Yeah. All of those things. And the brands that reflect those values, are going to be more likely connecting with this generation.
What about technology? I know that VR is becoming popular. AR is increasingly becoming popular with them.
It's interesting to see those two specific technologies because they haven't gone the direction that we thought that many thought that they were going to be with, Meta obviously changed their entire the name of the company to this concept of the metaverse. We're still not seeing that hit to the mainstream, but
Do you
more and
think
more.
that might have to do with the fact that Gen Z also values that ethical component? Do you think maybe the adoption is being hindered by the fact that maybe well, first off, we know Gen Z are not wide adopters of the Meta environment, right? Facebook and Instagram. They're marginally there.
Right.
It's
More so probably in the WhatsApp and
in
Instagram
TikTok.
and
Yeah,
WhatsApp. Meta owns WhatsApp. Meta owns Instagram. Meta owns Threads.
sure.
But yeah, I think that they're a little more averse to the metaverse, the metaverse. But yeah, for some reason they have no problem with brands like TikTok, or Snapchat. Um, and I think that there's probably a new brand a new technology that's going to come out that's going to take over this AR, VR type things, maybe with the Meta glasses or some of the newer wearables that are coming out.
So, I mean, basically what it comes down to is that Gen Z is primarily interested in authenticity.
Yep.
They are very much into the values that brands put forward, and while addressing social issues that are relevant to Gen Z. So, a quick recap, right? So, what matters to Gen Z when it comes to creating compelling content?
I think authenticity has got to be up there.
100%. Yeah.
Social responsibility in
Can you give an example for that?
for example, I think companies that that give back as part of their business plan.
So it's part of that whole community engagement idea.
Yep. Yeah.
Whether or not it's local, hyper local, or even on a national level, like we saw with Tom's shoes, for example.
Yeah. Exactly. And so,
And for those who are unfamiliar, for our one listener that we're talking to, Tom's shoes, for every pair of shoes that you bought, they would donate a pair, right? I mean, it wasn't the exact same pair, but
Right.
which we later found out it was a much less expensive pair of shoes, but nonetheless.
That's just good business on Tom's part.
And just to clarify, Tom was not the same guy from MySpace.
Not the MySpace guy.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
And
it's supposed to be on Gen Z, not Gen X.
And for our Gen Z listener, MySpace is sort of like TikTok, but for people who were born in the 1900s.
It's the Friendster of its day.
Does anyone know what that is?
No.
Thank you for tuning in to Brand of Brothers. A big thank you to our presenting sponsor, Remix, the branding agency, along with production assistants from Johnny Diggz, Simon Jacobson, and me, Doug Berger. We can't forget music by PRO. Speaking of not forgetting, remember to do that like and subscribe thing, and find us at brandshowlive.com and follow us on the socials at Brand Show Live.